What is the subject that we're going to discuss? Okay. We are going to look into matters pertaining to health reform. That is what we are going to look into. So we are not, I'm not only going to talk about ministers, but it is about a general view, not only about ministers, but it touches each and everyone. So that is what I'm going to look into. So point of concern that look into it is about how can the gospel of the health reform message that every class can be able to have this message of benefit. So it will be a study so that we get to share. I present what I have, and if you have something to present so that we get to learn all of us together. So that is what I would like us to do so that we get to learn. And to start, we know that indeed health reform plays a of and if we read, I would like someone to help me open the book of like TSDF, testimonies, TSDF or 3.TSDF, TSDF, testimonies times TSDF 103.11. All the yes, testimonies studies on diet and food. 103.11. Like, is how much you some quotation. 111. Uh, object of hygienic reform is to secure the highest possible development and soul and body. So we are told about the great object of what? Of hygienic reform is to do what? To secure what? The highest possible development of mind, soul, and body. So whenever we are told that even as our soul prospereth, that our health also should do what? Should prosper. So the main object of hygienic reform is that we should be in good health. So physical well-being should be in sound of health. So we find that the greatest object of what we need to practice health reform is that we should be in good health, so that once we are in we're able to glorify God in our body. And we find that the Lord has given us this message so that through it, many can be able to receive the truth, because we know that reform is like a way which opens a way forward, the truth forward to enter. But the health is the opens the door that the truth may get to enter. Have you ever read such quotations? I believe that I don't want to read that. So what we are going to look into, it is about the SDF, 49.9. Yes, 49.9. Harmonize health reform in different social classes. That is what I would like us to look into. 49.9 SDF. 49 says, it says,
This class forms a testimony which this class which can be able to supplement all that is discarded. They form a very small minority to whom this test seems continue. Therefore, there are those problem comes by the as a consequence become weak at the end of our years. The reform is so to what we have tried to build up solely is confused with straight things that God has not required. Yes. But what will interfere? Yes. To prevent the results of two strenuous ideas. Yes. The gospel is to come at the same race. Yes. It is to bring the rich and the poor together at the feet of Jesus. Okay. So what I want us now to look into this day, it is how can we, because when we look into the state of like the Ellen and White League, they consider the different classes in regards to what they occupy. For instance, if we read about TSDF, if as we look into that, I would like us, because there's something that we must put, we must be able to understand. Circumstances, there are some peculiar circumstances that are being considered as special, that are even the likes of not even considered whenever they were putting on coming up with a kind of meal or a kind of diet that the people should be able to take. So if as we are going, someone is opening TSDF for 200 so you did that, and we may get to know the book is PSN 286.3. PSN 286.3, that's PSN 288.1. Then you can come now to that so that we may get to find. Is it that there were special individuals during that time? Can it be that everyone is to be given the same diet despite your circumstance? So you can help me read 3SM 286.
This so prevalent, they led me to make the statements that I have made. The special victims were presented in warning to others. Thus, they come before other families than the very individuals connected. But let the testimony speak for themselves. Let But let the testimony speak for themselves. Let these acts let the testimony speak for themselves. Let statements given for individuals and families and drive these things because they want to use the weak and to have something to drive.
You can pause that. But first of all, you find that they are statements that they were given to special individuals, not to everyone. There were certain statements that they were given to certain individuals. You can continue.
Determine the parliaments take the word of God and the testimonies, which present the necessity of forbearance and love, the labor zealously and perseveringly. With their own heart, with their own spirit, humble and full of the milk of human kindness, they will not realize neither will says, there will be some who will not leave the best and most correct impression upon minds. They will be inclined to narrow ideas and plans and have not the least idea of what constitutes self-reform. They will share testimonies which have been given for special individuals under peculiar circumstances and make these testimonies general and to apply in all classes. Indeed, in this way, they bring discredit upon my work and the influence of testimonies upon health reform.
So we find that there are special DSM 1. We will have testimony we have been given for special individuals under peculiar circumstances. So we have special individuals who are having peculiar circumstances. So the testimonies, there were some testimonies that they were written specifically for special individuals and specifically for peculiar circumstances. And the one that will take these and make them what general in all cases. And so what I wanted to bring to mind, even the times of Illinois, there were special individuals, there were peculiar circumstances. And so, as it were, I believe even, and so a question that can be aroused is that how can we as a people in these times be able to deal with these special individuals, be able to deal with these peculiar circumstances? Because there is a message specifically, because we cannot have the same message for a special individual, same to the person who is in a normal condition, because those people are not at the same level, they are not at the same capability. So I would like us to look into some of those circumstances under which the Lord was able now to prescribe that I can say a special like suggestion to them. So I would like us now to look into that TSDF. These are now some of the circumstances that some people have raised and Illinois was able not to address. So I like someone to help me TSDF 41.3. Yes.
Milk, eggs, and butter should not be classed with fresh food. In some cases, the use of eggs is beneficial. The time has come to say that the use of milk and eggs should be fully decided. The article fully discussed there consists largely of bread and milk.
First of all, stop at that point. So we find that in the times of Illinois, they could have noticed that amidst them there were even what the poor families. So that is a peculiar circumstance. They need to be away, or these poor families ought to be catered for in regards matters pertaining to health. That is the first one about the poor. It is like a circumstance on its own, not a special case. The poor. I would like us to go to SDF. We see
one paragraph 12 says the following. Those who live in new countries or in other history states where views are not as scarce give milk and egg from them.
Circumstance or a special case. Poverty stricken district. First of all, you think about the poor. Second, circumstance about those living in new countries, poverty stricken district. I can the second one of those living in poverty stricken district.
This way, say, it is true that persons in and in whom animal passions are strong need to avoid the use of stimulant foods, especially in the case of children who are given to sexual habits. Eggs
change. Male cadet should not be only this cadet. So you find that the third case is about those black. We can see that there is a testimony or there is a declaration that which showed the other people how they were eating. We find that it was quite different. There are certain quotations that I heard whereby I found that in Michigan, while they were not using milk, there was a place that I don't know if it is Michigan or Buffalo, when they were using milk, they said to them they did not be able to do such thing like that. But in that area, they were not using it. And so, circumstance and be able to live on. And so, you find that there are certain circumstances, even amidst people of God, that if they cannot be able to be addressed, then for sure the people of God, they cannot be able to live in a way that will surely be able to push the health reform forward. But it should be about health reform instead of health reform. And so it should be our desire that we make sure that we make sure that reform is accepted by each and everyone, not only by the class that is in. Because we are told that if this health reform is trained with the high intention, it is only a certain class that are able to accept it, only a certain that has been discarded. And there's something that whereby about a rule of dispensing. You can read with me the book. Someone can read also 41.3.
41, should we begin with dot 3 or dot 10?
You can start with 41. Start with dot 10, I see.
Dot 10 says, some in abstaining from milk, eggs, and butter have failed to supply the system with proper nourishment, and as a consequence, have become weak and unable to work. Thus, health reform is brought into disrepute. The work that we have tried to
go to 41.3.
1.3. 41.3 says, milk and eggs and butter should not be classed with flesh meat. In some cases, the use of eggs is beneficial. The time has not come to say that the use of milk and eggs should be wholly discarded. There are the poor families whose diet consists largely of bread and milk. They have little food and cannot afford to purchase the nut foods. In teaching health reform, as in all other gospel work, we are to meet the people where they are until we can teach them how to prepare health reform foods that are palatable, nourishing, and yet inexpensive. We are not at liberty to present the most advanced prepositions regarding health reform diet.
We are told until we can teach them how to prepare health reform food that are palatable, nourishing, and yet inexpensive. We are not at liberty to present the most advanced propositions regarding health reform diet. And so there are some points where we find that Ellen White talks that once you discard something, you should do what? You should replace it. If you discard something, you must be able to have something to replace with it. If you cannot, then you will be doing health reform. Because impoverished diet comes as a result whereby you cannot be able to supplement the body with the required what? Nutrients that it requires. If you cannot be able to give the body the right food or the organs of the body the right nutrients that it requires, then you cannot be able to do in favor of health reform, but you'll be doing against health reform. And so, if I consider all these that we've been reading, and coming to that matter pertaining now to the matter pertaining now to the time, I would like you to help me read. The book is TSDF 11.7. TSDF 11.7, so that we may get to know. So that we may get to know, is it right time? And if it isn't, So how can we be able to go about now these special individuals? Should we just leave them? Should we just prescribe a diet for them which cannot be able to benefit them? Because, for instance, let me take an example. If, yes, we know the perfect diet is vegetable, grains, nuts, and fruits, yeah? Grains, vegetables, fruits, and nuts. Let us take and how many, let us assume we have different social classes. So if the rich can afford the first, let us remove the nuts to come to the second level. Like that. That's how, because people, because of circumstance, the poor differ with the rich. Because if you tell the rich to buy the nuts, because if it was so, those who complain that we have little nuts, then Illinois would have told them do such and such and such kind of a thing. But Illinois saw that these people, yes, they don't have great nuts, they don't have large quantity of nuts, but he told them because of that, you can do this, and this, because of the circumstance that they were in. And so Illinois really considered the circumstance that the people were in so that they could not be able to be engaged in a health reform that seems to be a burden. Because we should get to know that health reform is like a way opener for the truth. It shouldn't be an hindrance to the truth. If I will make it a burden, then many will be deterred from embracing the truth. And so I would like you to help me read that TSDF 24.5.
11 paragraph 7.
You can read that.
11 paragraph 7 says, the poor say, when health reform is presented to them, what shall we eat? We cannot afford to buy the nut foods. As I preach the gospel to the poor, I am instructed to tell them to eat the food which is most nourishing. I cannot say to them, you must not eat eggs or milk or cream. You must use no butter in the preparation of food. The gospel must be preached to the poor, and the time has not yet come to prescribe the strictest diet.
So first of all, a question is raised. The poor say, what shall we eat? We cannot afford to buy the nut food. So if such a question is raised in our midst, what kind of an answer can we be able to give to such kind of a question? Because I believe not each and everyone we cannot be able to assume that each and everyone can do it. Or do you want to say that everyone can afford? Eh? Eh? Because if I say so, then it's like I'll be saying that all the concepts that Illinois has been writing concerning the poor, it means like maybe with us we've been privileged, all of us are rich. Do what? They should use that which is most nourishing to them. And that is the answer that. And so a challenge comes whereby in regards now to has the time reached, and if it has reached, what should we now do? And so I would like you to help me look for some of the quotations pertaining to the time, so that we may look into them, so that we may get to see what is Illinois saying pertaining to a question relating to time with this issue of milk and egg eating. And after the end, I will give some chances maybe for question addition. So I'd like you to help me, because there's some that I've written, but I didn't. You can help me. You can type about time. If you have a smartphone, you can help me search. In those health books, you read time, and then you write milk, egg, and then it will come. There are various quotations. It is not one quotation. They differ, so that we may look into these various quotations and get to see. Because if we just take a hold to one quotation, and all of them talks about time, they talk about the same thing, then we need to bring them together so that we may get to know what is Illinois trying to say pertaining to what? To the issue involving time in regards to those things. Is someone mtu amepata yote? Is someone there? Let me search.
And also is a book we have quoted much. It is one book called KSDF. This one book you would know which year it was written. Because these other books, when you look at the years, it's the same. Because it is the same and white and like now I've just gotten a quotation here. It's the quotation of just done. Just in the way I say that I've gotten it. This is page 80. Let me just find it. My phone is starting. Now it is this page. This is page. This I think it is 19. Yes, again. Somebody can check it from the last day events around page 80. My phone is jumping.
It looks about
What is people value their health?
page 80, paragraph 4 says that the health reform I was shown is the part of the third angel's message, and just as closely connected with it as are the arm and the hand with the human body. Tea, coffee, tobacco, and alcohol we must present as sinful indulgence. We cannot place on the same ground meat, eggs, butter, cheese, and such articles placed upon the tables. These are not to be borne in front as the burden of our work. The former, tea, coffee, tobacco, beer, wine, and all spirituous liquors are not to be taken moderately, but discarded.
So which year is that?
This is 1881.
So 1881, Ellen White writes about things which are also should not be placed in the table, together with tea and coffee. However much he says that it should not be presented. It should not be what?
He says, these are not to be borne in front as the burden of our work.
Yes, it should not be the burden, but our burden of the world is to put the issue of where we meet and trust, but it should not be placed upon the table. 1881. So we will also, because there are times say the time will come to prescribe the strictest time. I will be also looking at a quote which says due to increase diseases in what? What?
7135.
7135. So that is 1881. So it also help us to know which year the writer, that we know that that time come during Ellen White, but that come was to come later on and die. That is the first thing. But we also check that 70, 135.
Also CD 356.
Let's read that one and then I leave to others also to add. Somebody was gotten it?
Let the word from the CD 356.2. It says, let the diet reform be progressive. Let the people to be taught how to prepare food without the use of milk or butter. Let them that the time,
Tell them.
or tell them that the time will soon come when there will be no safety in using egg, milk, cream, or butter, because diseases in animals is increasing in preparation to the yes, of the wickedness among men.
To the increase of wickedness among them. The time is near when, because of the iniquity of the fallen race, the whole animal creation will grow under disease that curse our heart. God will give his people ability and task to prepare wholesome food without resistance. Let our people discard all unwholesome relationships. Let them learn how to live healthfully, teaching to others what they have learned. Let them impart this knowledge as they would Bible instruction. Let them teach the people to preserve the health, increase the strength, by avoiding large amount of cooking that has filled the world with chronic invalids. Chronic, underline the chronic invalids. That will take us back to chronic diseases. So we will know if eggs and butter were bringing chronic invalids or chronic diseases. And then let them teach people to preserve health and increase strength by avoiding large amount of cooking as has filled the world with chronic invalids. By precept and example, make it plain that the food which God gave Adam in his sinless state is the best. The food that God gave Adam in his sinless state is the best for man's use as he seeks to regain that sinless state. And I believe as we approach the close of probation, God's people seek to restore that sinless what? State. And to restore that perfection that Christ, that God, during the creation, how God created Adam and Eve. So we want to know, Ellen White says the time will soon come. That is during their time. Now, and another quotation says, let people be taught not to use milk, eggs, and butter. And then another one says, let them not even appear in the table. And then he also says that we teach the people on how they can cook well without use of those things. That is 1881. I don't know this testimony for the church volume 7 is which year?
1926.
Huh? Testimony for the church volume 7 can
Hiyo anasema huyu anasema nini? CSDF was published in 1926. But testimony is
published, so that means it is okay. So
CSDF was a textbook compiled for the medical students
after the death of anyone. Okay. But now, testimony for the church volume 7 was written in which year? Somebody can get the background? Someone can continue, I'm done. I'm done, I've just given a quotation. So what the teacher wanted is that you give, huh?
It was published in 1902.
What the teacher wanted us to give the other quotations talking about time. Was that the request? Then we harmonize the time, so somebody can continue.
Okay. I can also read a quotation from Counsel for the Church, page 225, paragraph 3. It says that the diet reform should be progressive. As disease in animals increases, the use of milk and eggs will become more and more unsafe. An effort should be made to supply their place with other things that are helpful and inexpensive. The people everywhere should be taught how to cook without milk and eggs so far as possible, and yet have their food wholesome and palatable.
Which book is that?
Our counsels to the church, page 225, paragraph 3.
Page 220,
5, paragraph 3.
which year? Someone can also just bring a quotation.
I can bring only that the phone does not exist,
just say
but the God promised that it will make us know the time. I read in 16 LTMS, 16 and somebody can talk on it.
LTMS.
LT37, 16 LTMS, LT37, 37, and the year before. Paragraph 25.
37.
Yeah.
Paragraph number 5.
35, 25.
else others are listening.
But I can say what the Christian says.
35.
I think so.
35 says that this is all I can write today.
Mhm.
For the mail must go soon. But I used to say that when the time comes,
When the time comes,
that it is no longer safe to use milk, cream, butter, and eggs, God will reveal this.
God promised to do it. That is what they can say about time. That is God promised. That was written in 1991. That book. You can check.
This would
It is in 1991.
made it more.
But when time comes, God will reveal it. So,
So the time
Okay. Just to add on top of what Brother Felix is saying, that when the time comes, God will reveal. I think God must be able to give us beacons to see that now time has come for us to discuss the use of milk and eggs. As we see the development of the world today, we are even aware that the things that people are eating today are somehow dangerous, and therefore we go for the less harmful. A quotation has been supplied in the councils to the church page 225 that disease will increase in animals. So today as we do the life of a cow and the life of a cow then, the life of a hen today and the life of a hen then those are beacons that should be let us understand that time has now come when the strictest diet, we read something like the strictest what? Diet should be now prescribed because diseases are now increasing in animals. Diseases even are increasing in some plants and vegetables due to the medicines that and the other herbicides that are being sprayed. So you cannot say, we need to understand that now. But my question to the teacher, I don't know if it is time for questions. One of the things that we need to understand best is, because when the teacher began, he was telling us that there are some people who cannot supply the best nutrients. And when the teacher was talking, it is evident that he was referring that there are people who cannot afford what? Nuts. Now my question, and it's like those who cannot afford nuts should be supplied with milk and what? Eggs. The teacher should be able to help us understand the components of the vegetables, nuts, and eggs. So that if somebody cannot afford nuts, then if that component in a nut can be found in a vegetable, then it should be going for a vegetable rather than eggs. So that one should also be understood best, because when the testimonies is clear, that time will come. Personally, as we see the world today, we see that time has now come. For my first question, we need to understand the elements of vegetables, nuts, and all other things. And then number two, we need to understand who the poor is in the world today. We need to understand who the poor is in the world today. Because if somebody can afford bread today and milk today, can that person, the same person, can it be said that the same person cannot afford nuts today? Maybe during those times there was a way now to afford bread and milk easily. But now today's world, because we have to also to consider time and place of those conditions. So today, who is the poor who cannot afford nuts? For us to understand who is that poor, but can afford milk, eggs, and bread, such things. Thank you.
I think I was in South Sudan and I saw people are very poor, but they are animals. They are cattle keepers and they can easily get away. In fact, in South Sudan, people are very poor. Most people are very poor, and they also they have a very good land, but they are not going to the farm as a result of the war. People fear planting because they can run at any time. And you see, you cannot run with your farm, but you can run with your animals because they are in a one big fast forest. So most of them use milk, and most of them use, I don't know if they also use eggs, but they use milk most of them. And all of them, we have a lot of diseases that are caused by those milk. due to increased diseases. And when I was there, I even ate things which I had not eaten, which I had stopped eating because I left in bread, but I had to eat it when I went outside. Because that is the only thing they can give you. And you eat it daily. You eat it daily. Even raw salad, raw mafuta here, this mafuta. You eat it raw, kumwagia kwa chakula. Just pour it like that. Yeah, this one. So those are places I've also seen, but they have a very fertile land, meaning they can plant. When you go there, they also understand the art of farming, the way we do, and they are also praying that the Lord may open for them ways to be in the country. In fact, they are using that thing knowing it is not good for them. So I believe that Ellen White was very clear. The time will come, it will increase. All of us. In fact, even before she died, she says, "Do not put this." I believe that before the death of Ellen White, the time had even come. Because Ellen White did not put these things on the table. And what we need to balance, because Ellen White says, this is where Ellen White was prescribing how we can eat. But let me read just for you. Answers on diet. Answers on diet. Is it, I don't know exactly where she was saying, yes, page 204, paragraph 1. Do not go to the extremes in regard to the health reform. Some of our people are very careless in regard to health reform. Look, some of our people are very careless. Now, Ellen White talks of carelessness. Now, listen to this. But because some are far behind, you must note, in order to be an example to them, be an extremist. So you don't need to be what? Extremist. You must not deprive yourself of that class of food which makes good blood. Your devotion to true principles leading you to submit yourself to a diet which is giving you an experience that will not recommend health reform. This is your danger. So these are a letter to an individual. Now, when you say this is your danger, that is a letter to an individual, just as Molino said. So when you see that you are becoming weak physically, it is essential for you to make changes, and at once. Put into your diet something you have left out. It is your duty to do this. Get eggs of healthy foods. Now, Ellen White even goes ahead to those who use eggs. Healthy foods. Now, these poor people don't even be grabbing foods. Only will be buying the one which is coming from Uganda, which we have in our laptops. Healthy foods. If it is our time, use these eggs cooked or raw. Cooked or what? Raw, cooked near boka, then rolled Yivo. Drop them uncooked into the best unfermented wine you can find. And fermented wine you can find. This will supply that which is necessary to your system. Do not for a moment suppose that it will not be right to do this. So you put it in unfermented wine and you eat it. Now, that was Ellen White was writing to an individual
Who was weak?
We appreciate your experience as a physician, and yet I say that milk and eggs will be included in your diet. These things cannot be at present. And Ellen White repeated, at present. Be dispensed with. At present. And then she says, and the doctrine of dispensing with them should not be taught. At present, you are in danger of talking too radical view of health reform and of prescribing for yourself a diet that will not sustain you. Now, Ellen White repeated every time she talks of eggs and she talks of milk, she talks about at present, she talks about the time will come. And why all those things repeated? And she says, even a quotation which was read, that that time when it comes, a prescribed diet will be what? Given. And she dies when already she has given those things. That people will go back to the food that Adam ate in their sinless state. So I believe that health, as we speak, even healthy foods are not there. Because I'm seeing my mother is is having what? Falls at home there. And they're eating around there. And I'm seeing sometimes anakuja na dawa na anawadunga kwa sababu ugonjwa ikitoka, if disease comes in the village, for you to take care of your what? Hens, lazima ufanye nini? Yeah, you have to vaccinate them against those diseases. So that vaccine which is being given to them makes the hens not to be what? Healthy. That is number one. And for you, Saiz, even if you start taking care of the hens, you cannot say that you will be giving them ogaka, aloe vera. But if you can do that, itakuwa sawa. So getting healthy, even hens from the market. This nowadays the eggs we have, because the yolks will be in of the normal egg, is that right? Nowadays take them cook, the yolk is black. What does that one show? Because even in school where we went, we were told yolk, which color is the yolk of the egg, then you write yellow. If you write black, you get eggs. Today, if also you write black, you still get eggs, but you tell Mwalimu in CBC, but you see it is black, and they say it should be yellow. That is, so you see, they still give you wrong, but when you go to practical, it is what? Black. So those are the challenges that as the time comes, and we have the faulty, because what anasema is, what if I have my own what? Foods, hen, if I can drink the milk from my own cow. And even my father's got his own cow, and I saw him anadunga sindano. That is his own cow. So, but when I was young, I was seeing them giving them some remedies, which is not there nowadays. So we want to know, that time was to come at what time, whether it is coming during the close of probation or during Sunday. Maybe these eggs were also to come during Sunday. Is when that time was to come increase disease. So it is during Sunday law, we also need to know. That is how I would lead. Thank you.
Can I have a director's? I think they can do it. And then,
The teacher, somebody is talking behind.
I found that you can supply in CD 555 but 5. Just try. I think that person is so important. CD 555. Somebody can make it.
555.
Yeah.
555.
355.
355.
Just according, that's what my brothers are saying. Somebody can make it.
The time will come
The time will come.
when we may have to discuss some of the articles on diet we now
We
use,
now use
such as milk,
such as milk,
cream,
cream,
and eggs.
and eggs.
But it is not necessary
It is not necessary
to bring upon ourselves a complexity
complexity,
by premature and extreme restrictions.
weight,
Wait until the circumstances demand it, and the Lord prepares the way for it.
So the question is, his circumstances now demand him today. It's just my brother saying, giving the explanation now. Now his mother is taking care of the eggs. We were to wait until the circumstances demand,
And what do we?
and go do it. And today the circumstances are calling. So you see the eggs? It is now the time, according to this quote.
What is now the
The circumstances are now demanding
We go back.
for a reform.
That is why today we are eating eggs in the morning, made from the one God gave Adam. And that is why we are eating eggs. You can make eggs using soy, the one we just eaten this morning. Though others do not give me a secret, like you like one molecule outside.
Yeah.
Now, even in the mission we ate eggs, and it was so nice. That means it is it is replacing the eggs. Because even dealing the Ellen White in the same counsels on diet and food, page 207, paragraph 4, while warnings have been given regarding the dangers of disease through barter and evil of the free use of eggs by small children, yet we should not consider it a violation of principle to use eggs from the hens that are well cared for and suitably fed. Suitably fed. Today, do you know how hens are cared for and being fed? Who has ever seen suitably fed? That means I am suitably fed. Huwezi kumnunulia zile those things from agrovet. They will eat kuyo, those things, and ukichinja kuku unapata kuyo ndani. Kuyo ni sana. Na nini tena? Nyasi, walikuwa nakula nyasi sukuma wiki hizo vitu. Suitably fed. And then White says, eggs contain properties that are remedial agencies in counteracting certain poisons in the body. Mtu akikunywa hata sumu, si anapewa raw what? Eggs. Hata raw milk anapewa na inatoa nini? Sumu. So, hata saa hizi mtu akikunywa kitu mbaya, tunaweza kumpea eggs ili atapika. Hatuwezi sema we cannot use it, but from eggs, inaweza toa poisons na mtu atapika. Hata mwenye amekunywa pombe nyingi, akisapewa raw eggs na amekataa kutafuta, anasema hii kitu ni. Even when my brothers died, walipokula cassava, they were given eggs, but they refused to do what? Kutapika. And that is what made them to die. Walikata kutapika. Because eggs help to remove poisons from the what? From the body, raw ones. So even this time, Ellen White was giving that some been abstaining from milk and eggs and butter have failed to supply the system with proper nourishment. So as we leave eggs and milk, today Brighton was making for us milk from soya. And everyone from Kanyadoto came to see. Is that a supplement?
Yes.
Or if we know that what Brighton was making for us do not supply, what eggs bring, soya cannot bring. Because I think egg is a protein, is that right? And soya is also what? Protein. So eggs in tumekula asubuhi, we can also get milk from the plant. And you can also see that from the Bible. When those people went to Canaan, a land full of honey and what? Milk. When they came back, what did they carry? You see, it is full of honey and milk. And what did they show? Grapes. So that is milk. That means milk can come from the what? From the farm. Ama mjasoma hiyo, mtu atafute hiyo verse, tuone, when they were reporting what the milk and honey which was in that land. It was not a cow, they did not come with animals. Because Israelites were having animals that they were using for sacrifice. So milk was not to take them to Canaan. Unless it was flowing and mtu anaenda tu anaweka ndoo na inajaa. And I don't think it was like that. And when they came, somebody to check that one, the report that came. The land full of, in fact they confirmed, it is full of milk and then they send people that. So we can make milk from plants. I don't know, Charity, you can tell us how to make milk from plants until we drink that milk. And how we can make eggs from plants until we take that eggs. And soya, even poor people can get it. Because if Uganda can supply for us fake eggs mpaka Kenya here, energy is all over the world, energy. Ama kuna mahali penye kuna energy that people drink, then soya people can plant, even the poor person. Because if a poor person, because I went to Turkana and I thought that they are poor, and they are hosting, they have animals. One person has got over 300 animals. Is that a poor person? And then, the only thing it is dry, and when you're going to teach out there, you teach them on how to eat those things, but if they can, and that is in stricken areas, whereby it is drought, and foods are not possible to be gotten. But again, they need to be taught on how they can cook that food so that it may be less what? Household. Just as Ellen White was telling people, the ones who were using eggs, and he was telling them to go to the less harmful ones, the ones that are cared for well, which we cannot use in possible, but we can use it in Northeastern, in Turkana, in Kajiado. So that, but they are not poor, they are rich, because they have even Bunduki. Yeah. You have even Luke. Thank you.
The verse would say,
You have gotten the verse?
yes.
Which book?
Numbers chapter 13. Numbers chapter 13, verse 26 and 27, and it reads, And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron, and to all the congregation of the children of Israel, and to the wilderness of Paran, to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them, and unto all the congregation, and shewed them the fruit of the land. And they told him and said, We came unto the land whither thou sent us, whither thou sentest us, and surely it floweth with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it.
So that milk and honey, the fruit, they came with fruit which they took from them. So that fruit was the milk. So we can get the milk from fruit to replace the milk from what? Animals, especially as we approach in the last days. We need to teach people, now they can get pure milk to replace the harmful milk. But if we just teach people to leave these things and we don't give them supplements with other stuff, we are going to be very dangerous to the people. So that is, our ministers should be leading an example. Our ministers should be leading an example in doing this work. Teaching people on how to live and also what to replace. But if you only teach people on what to live and also to avoid the extreme, there are extremists which comes in among ministers and mtu atakita kukunywa madiwamo sana. Mtu ataki anasema eti mkita eggs, kwa nini mwache eggs na mtengeneza another eggs with plants? Those extremes are also coming. Eti tukiacha nyama, kwa nini tutengeneze nyama ya plants? Hiyo bado tuna appetite ya nyama. Tukiacha kitu tuwache na tusitengeneze tena. Those things are there. They are going to be discussed. Thank you, man.
Okay, I have a comment. Okay, if we read from the book Community Struggling, page 295, paragraph 1, after understanding that we are living at a time now, milk and eggs. So 95, paragraph 1, milk and eggs are not safe for our bodies because of the increased rate of diseases in animals. And we understand very well that in the diet that God gave man, it consists of everything that the body could need. Our bodies are built up from the food we eat. There is a constant breaking down of the tissues of the body. Every movement of every organ involves waste, and this waste is required from our food. Each organ of the body requires its share of nutrition. The brain must be supplied with this portion. The bones, muscles, nerves demand theirs. It is a wonderful process that transforms the food into blood and use this to build up the varied parts of the body. But this process is going on continually, supplying with life and strength, and the nerve, muscles, and tissues. If you read paragraph 2, it says that those foods should be chosen that best supplies the elements needed for building up the body. In this choice, appetite is not a safe guide. Through wrong habits of eating, the appetite has become perverted. Often it demands food that impairs health and causes weakness. So we are being told that the food that God gave man, it includes all nutrients and elements. What we understand that our bodies requires elements and nutrients. And from the milk and from the egg, which elements do we get from there? Which elements do we get from eggs?
Protein.
Protein. We have phosphorus, calcium, potassium, iron, zinc, and many others. So we are being told that we should seek another source of where we can get all these nutrients. And if you compare soya and egg, they have the same elements because phosphorus, calcium, potassium, iron, zinc, and magnesium, they are all found in eggs and in soya. So if you see the importance of these elements upon our system, that's why we were told that the foods that God provided, they included all elements that our body requires. So if you look even in the importance of egg, we have the protein, and the same protein, that is the importance of soy, and you can make egg from soy. So if you look the importance of protein in the system, that number one, protein helps to build the what? The system. So we have another source where we can get all the minerals that are contained in the eggs. So also in soya, we have something called vitamin K1 that is also found in eggs. So the importance of that vitamin is for blood purpose, for blood clotting. Another one is calcium that is also in the egg, essential for strong bones and teeth. Then iron transport oxygen in the blood and helps prevent anemia. Potassium helps regulate blood pressure. Zinc support the immune system and plays a role in numerous bodily processes. Then we have copper and manganese, trace minerals that are important for overall health. So all these minerals, they are found in plant-based diet. So if we were to make a change, it means soya have these all elements that are in eggs. So now if eggs are not safe to take, now we have another source of these elements that the body needs. So we now need to check keenly not to use the eggs, because we have sources in which these elements can be obtained from. They are not only in egg alone, but they are in plants. So thank you.
So we can also eat the
Should I speak?
Did you search the entire elements? Did you search the entire elements?
In the eggs. Yeah.
Are you sure?
See, phosphorus, calcium, potassium, iron, zinc, magnesium, copper, sulfur, chlorine,
Those are so many. I just understand.
vitamin A.
The rest can contain
Yeah.
Like there are some elements that you can't find in soil.
Which one? Yes, to be specific.
that one.
Yes, to be specific.
I'm not getting you.
There are some elements which you cannot find in soil.
Like which one?
Which one?
Vitamin D, vitamin B12.
Our system prepares vitamin B12 naturally, you see.
Then from ripe fruits, you just eat and just grind it.
And then vitamin D, you go to the sun and the elements are broken, you find vitamin D.
You know, if maybe if you go and study under Health Essentials, she mentioned that book, her guidelines on health, you'll find that you'll be told, yes, you may say that the body manufactures, but it is in a little amount that cannot be able to support. Because if you get to read, you find that anemia can be hidden even for about 4 to 7 years without noticing. And after that year, you find that people will come up with conditions such as neurological disorders. People are not allowed to neurological disorders, conditions that really affect because of what lack of vitamin B12. So let us go.
So according to you, what is the best way to supply vitamin B12?
Vitamin B12. It is now we try and look into it, because as I read that book, I saw that there is no other way.
But the body prepares its natural vitamin B12.
No other way. So we persist in eggs or
So do you say that eggs is going to provide vitamin B12? And remember, your presentation was focusing so much on circumstances like sick and this other this one. So if we are going now to vitamin B12, then we say that it is prepared in the body. Then we say that that one is late. Kidogo. it means there must be something that must supply it to be enough. So you cannot say that there's any other way.
Because it's people supplements.
Because you have been talking of supplements to get best health. So you need to be coming up with an idea on how to supply vitamin B12. Maybe it is eggs. Then if it is eggs, then we have the disadvantages of eggs. Then the body prepares a vitamin B12 naturally. Then we can go for that of the body and discard the disadvantages of eggs. But you have not told us whether it is eggs, but I don't know. Let me rest my case.
I just have a question because people have talked so much. So my concern number one is that you had condoned with us that the time will come when all these things should be discarded, Cindy. So first question you should answer that we may harmonize this thing, that when is that time? Then when that time will come, to say me, yes, it has not come. When it will come, how can we supply vitamin B12? Yenye hiyo saa ikifika, we will discard it. And also, you may remind us that is the diet given, as Ellen White right, do you concur with the quotation that the diet given to Adam was a complete one? Thank you.
Okay, so you can go to TSDF 14.5. Let us go to TSDF 14.5. So, TSDF 40.5 na alikuwa mambo mtu asije pia kutafuta quotations concerning time.
They've been provided. They have been provided.
So like maybe mwingine akuwe nayo hapo mwingine different because they are different so that we may be able to look into them. Yes.
Mwalimu, maybe we are going to waste time. All of us agree that there is going to come a time. All of us, you and me. Say that. If the question to use directly, when is that time? Because most of those people being providing those solutions believe that that time is now.
It is now.
So you personally, you need to answer us. When is that time?
I believe it is now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So there's something that I would like us
Then
to
we are
look
wasting
into.
time.
If you believe it is now, then
It is
we
fine.
need to discard the use of milk
And supply.
and supplies.
Yes, it is now.
Then we go to strict diet.
Let us read this there 40.5 so that we may get something.
Now the time will come. The time will come when men cannot be used as freely as it is now used. But the present time is, but the present is not the time to discard it.
So, how do you get the quotation? Repeat.
It says, the time will come when male cannot be used as freely as it is used now. But the present, is not the time to be discarded.
So from that quotation, what I get, in their time, milk was done what freely used.
In their time.
In their time. But a time is coming, it will not be freely used. Will it be discarded?
That is that quotation.
That is that quotation.
But there are some others that says that time will come where we
That's why I say we should bring those quotations about time.
So let's bring those quotations together and put one.
Yeah,
Tera,
about
I
time.
just have a concern. Because we are repeating ourselves, let us be strict and save time. Reason number one, you have concurred with us that the time will come. And you have allowed that it is now. Saying, you have allowed it is now.
Yes.
Then what next? Should we discard it or should we contradict the testimony that it is no time, let us just continue with it? Is it now?
It is now.
Then should we discard?
According to this, if now we read these quotations,
Is it now?
it is now.
Should we discard?
Yes or no?
Yes or no?
Yes or no?
In the manner that we are conducting it is like we are now finding side with each other, or the other person to side with the other. What we need to understand is that if all of us say that the time has come, then Tera is saying, but from his speech, he is trying to say that it's not now. So it is him to be given time to tell us what time. Because he is accepting at the same time denying.
He has not denied. What Tera is referring to is freely used. I know eggs now should not be freely used. That does not mean that we just use them. Tumesoma quotation pale that eggs can be used when somebody amepatwa akona poisons, ndio anaweza tumia eggs. So that means we are using eggs but not freely just as their time. But the time when they should be discussed, yani sijui nieleze aje. Hiyo ndo time ukwambie kama sasa hivi we should be discard the use of eggs and wait to use it. Maybe kama kuna poison, because you also read a quotation that says that circumstances will demand and God will show. We need not to bring circumstances before they come. You know, we can bring circumstances before they do what? They come. And then we want to say that we can now use that one because circumstances. Let the circumstances come, demand, and then God shows us the best. So your questions just stand. Tell us that it's the time to discuss the use of egg, milk, and butter as come. Then I think we shall just be okay.
And we pray.
Yeah, and we pray because time is so much time.
Answer tumalize.
So I can talk. Yes, I think we had a two quotation, and before brother Terra to answer the question, the first question was the time will come when milk. This is CD 358.4. The time will come when milk cannot be used as freely as it shown as it is now used, but the present is not the time to discard it. Then when you continue with the quotation, it says, but I wish to say that when the time comes that is no longer safe to use milk, cream, butter, and eggs, God will reveal this. No extremes in health reform are to be advocated. The question of using milk and butter and eggs will work out its own problem. Now, when you jump to the next paragraph, it reads that God will provide. Then it says that we see that the cattle are becoming greatly diseased. We see, we'll see. We see. Now we are seeing that, not laugh, we see the cattle are becoming greatly diseased. The earth itself is corrupt. Is corrupted? Is corrupted. Then it says, and we know that the time will come when it will not be best to use milk and egg. Now, I want us to get this point clearly. I think after reading this, you will combine the answer, then what utakuwa tu sawa. Hapa imetuambia ati but the time has not yet come. But ukiangalia huko mbele, tumeambiwa we see that the cattle are becoming greatly diseased, the earth itself is corrupted, and we know that the time will come when it will not be best to use milk and eggs. But that time has not yet come. We know that when it does come, the Lord will provide. The question is asked. The time we see, and we are seeing, and I'm seeing it. So I think
Just tell us when is that time. Maybe you're waiting for Sunday, like how Brother Maxwell said, or maybe at the beginning of the first play.
Back to you.
Wacha nitajibu hiyo kwanza.
So we discard.
Hey, it is time to discard because I think it's
Thank you.
Amen. Dissolution.
So I think I think he has answered the question but I wanted just to give a comparison from CD 356 paragraph 3. 356 paragraph 3 says, we have always used a little milk and some sugar. This we have never denounced, either in our writing or in our preaching. We believe cattle will become so much diseased that these things will yet be discarded. But the time has not yet come for sugar and milk to be wholly abolished from our tables. And it is letter 1, 1873. And if we move to CD 331 paragraph 3, CD 331 paragraph 3,
it says that especially harmful are the custard and puddings in which milk, egg, and sugar are chief ingredients. The free use of milk and sugar together should be avoided.
The free use of milk and sugar should be avoided. And she wrote in 1873 that they have never.
In 1873,
In 1873,
they said that they have been using it. They have never declared it to be discarded.
yes,
But now in 1896, she writes that those things should be avoided.
should be avoided.
This is now 1905.
This is now 1905, and that one was in 1873. So I think you can see it. Actually, in the same way she's speaking about the use of milk and eggs and even butter. So the time will tell when these things are to be wholly discarded.
So just want to speak to us for the next talk. I think we have come to conclusion. Now the only thing I can say is that there was a resolution that was made. But now if someone will persist and teach and listen, then Ellen White, they made a resolution. I want us to read that. Then I just talked in 16 LTMS. 16 LTMS. 16 LTMS. You can read from it. 16 LTMS MS 82
MS
82
82
1901
1901.
paragraph 176.
MS 82.
Paragraph 176.
They are unpublished works.
Umepata? 6. 1901.
Says Dr. Sanderson.
I think it is the you can listen. You can listen.
Sister.
Sasa tunaona kwa
It is 181, paragraph 181. Says that I acknowledge that I have written thus to Dr. Crash. I told him that as a physician, he should understand when his blood was getting impoverished. Now, said I, if God spares your life through this attack, don't you ever bring yourself into the position again. Never say that the person must not eat any milk or any butter or any eggs or anything of that kind. Said I, just keep that to yourself. Do not come out with such statements. People have to be educated by degrees, and these are the least harmful of this kind of foods. If you know you have got pure milk and eggs, as to butter, said I do not hold it. I do not hold to it. I do not put it on any table at all, and only use it sometimes in cooking when we have no cream or milk. I use that in cooking, but we do not put butter on our table. But I told Dr. Kress, you must not tell the people that they must not have milk, or they must not have so and so. The time will come when they cannot have these things. But do not make a time of trouble beforehand. Do not tell them they must dispense with milk and cream and all such things, because the poor people have to have something to live on, and they cannot provide themselves with these health foods, for they are not able to. I know about this extreme that you speak of. They have not. It is true, the faculty to put foods together to make them palatable, and then say, I am starving to death on the vegetarian diet. They would not need to starve to death. If they only knew how to prepare the foods properly, they have to learn how. Someone should educate them. I have a cook here from Battle Creek. She knows how to put things together. She does not have to do it much while we have everything from the garden, like green, corn, and these things that comes off from the ground, we have enough to eat, with bread and fruit and such things. But the time will come in the winter when we shall want these dishes. But I have a good cook. When I was at the doctor's home in Battle Creek, she put things together as I had never seen them put together, and they were tasteful.
Yes, boss, that is not the exact thing I wanted to read. I read that it was saying that those will now persist in the use of those names. So will not bring the matter before the people to discuss. They should keep it for themselves. It is not a test to bring before the people.
Let me also finish. As we conclude this issue of the question was brought by our brother Clara, it is not this personal, it is something people are saying. People say it may, even the SG reformers, even bread, they say if it is vegetarian, tell them bread, it is meat, those things are vegetables. And that is how I also used to reason when I came to reform, when I was taking mandazis, because it was from the farm. I say the chips, it is from the what? It is from the farm. It is only fried. Now, these things, we need to look at them not only on matters of eating, but also in matters of what? I'm carrying a book here, Nutrition, Use of Animal Products, and look at this, use of animal products and health risks, and look at what these things causes. But the counsels on that page 373 says that God gave our first parents the food he designed that the race should eat. It was contrary to his plan to have life of any creature taken. There was no death in Eden. The fruit of trees in the garden was food man's once required. God gave no permission to eat animal food until after the flood. Everything had been destroyed upon which man could subsist upon. Now, by departing from the plan divinely appointed to their diet, Israelites always suffered a great loss. That is how the flesh that give to preserve. The value had to be above the spiritual. the sacred preeminence which was his purpose, they did not retain. Now, after that, the animals that are deceased by their flesh, look at this, their causes, the research. This is a research which was done just recently. It says that the animal products which are included brings heart diseases, cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, ovarian cancer, lymph gland cancer, and other cancers linked to high meat, animal product, animal products that goes. Look at this one down here. Says cholesterol found in meat, eggs, and dairy. Dairy is milk. Is that right? Brings the following: ovarian cancer, lung, larynx, and colon cancer have all been linked to high intake of cholesterol that is found in meat, eggs, and dairy, which is milk. Women with high blood cholesterol levels have demonstrated a 3x likelihood of developing ovarian cancer. Excessive, and we start from there. Now, if we see eggs, and eggs is number one in cholesterol. I hope all of you knows that yolk is leading in the world. In fact, even the child that takes much eggs cannot speak. You know that. So it is full of cholesterol, then meat and those other things, and it brings diseases. It brings diseases like cancer. We cannot promote that because somebody is poor, he gets the cancer. But if there are poor people, then we need to go out as ministers and teach people practical things. We have to accept that there are sometimes that we have told people to stop things, but we have never given them the solution. And that is also extreme. But having known that there is something that can replace milk, which is best more than good. Milk can be good, but there's something best or better than it. We need to also teach people, if we teach about this, just as we did the other side. You quarrel about milk, but at the same time you call women, come, see how milk is being made. Soya is cheap. Soya, huwezi pata hata gorogoro na 500. Soya mtu anaweza atachukua kibisi moja afanye nini, apande kama mwenye anapanda nini. And then let cookery be taught to our churches, cookery be taught in the streets, so that when you tell somebody to leave this, akuja taste your egg, which you have made with soya, you will say, I'm going to leave it. If you tell people to leave meat, make something better than meat, more than. Let us not cook very bad things. Some people in our places, we eat white rice from month to month. Ugali mboga from month to month. No, let's change it. Let at least put some beans in it. Let sometimes put what? Lentils, chicken peas. Let us not be so much stingy until we only ugali mboga. Ugali, no, let we change. Sometimes with the little resources we want.
Yeah.
But milk for now, when somebody teaches people to take milk, that they are poor. And then we are going to collect money to teach their high blood pressure. Ama somebody is poor cannot get high blood pressure. This is cancer. High blood pressure is killing the most poor people. And cancer is even, imagine somebody is poor with breast cancer. And you know cancer is going with over 500. In medical missionaries are easy. If you cancer say, kama wanakuletea tu dawa, it is too much. If it is over $1 million, you wakikukatia ni $500,000, that is 500,000. So if you go to the government way, you will be taken to, how do we call it, chemotherapy, which you will die after 6 months. So let us not teach people to eat eggs, which bring diseases, but let us give what? How do we call it? Alternatives. So health people must be balanced people. And there is extremity whereby somebody, which was, I will show it even among the ministers, mutatake kama jiwo, mutatake siji, you are craving for chapati like you are craving for meat. So you want to relate everything. You want to bring meat related to beans. You want to bring eti mtu akiacha eggs, kwa nini mtengeneze eggs tena na soya. Let us not be such a people who want to relate everything. Let us know that these proteins are found in plant-based foods and in simple way that they can be received. And Mama Moses began making some milk and the villagers were buying, sindio? They were coming. Na walikuwa wanaandika kama mwenye ameandika maziwa ya ng'ombe. Na wanakuja kila siku. Can we also do that? And also after teaching people, you can also make it and get some simple money. Mtu andike maziwa kuli. Anaandika kila asubuhi anakuja you are milking for him or her. Ndio, na unatumia clean. Amen. And I believe that will be okay. But if you are going to be extreme, but there's no solution we are offering, then it will be so bad. Thank you. I'm done.
Let me finalize with this quotation. We are finishing. This is Self-Forgetting, page 78, paragraph 3 and 4. It says, the Lord intends to bring his people back to live upon simple fruits, vegetables, and grains. God provides foods in its natural state for our first parents. All the elements of nutrition are contained in fruits, vegetables, and grains. So, not funny, you continue.
You're funny.
That's what I It's complete. All the elements of nutrition are contained in the fruits, vegetables, and grains.
And in fact, nimeona hapa vitamin B12 inapatikana kwa soya.
Hata hiyo research tumeongeza mahali hapa. Iko.
And you see, I've just seen Ogaga placing something here that he went to test this akapata vitamin B12 yake nyumbani. That means you need to advise, leave milk here, so you need to be taking a cup, so that you may
At least
now omega-3 is also found in
Pumpkin seed.
pumpkin seeds.
So you can
So that your brain will, and you know people say it is omena which brings omega-3. Then let's go to pumpkin seeds. Any poor person can get a pumpkin seed around this place if you live there, dry places. Yes, so they can get it, grind it in the and then omega-3, which omena brings, pumpkin seed what?
brings. So you can try soya even this week.
Daily.
Maybe daily.
1 cup.
And eggs and some vegetables.
Practical religion.
Excuse me, I also wanted to give some brief about the study we've been carrying out. Also for the listener, how does it read?
132 paragraph 2 says, our bodies are built up from the food we
Read
eat.
paragraph 1.
Paragraph 1 says, health reform is an intelligent section of most helpful articles of food prepared in the most helpful, simplest form.
We find there Ellen White explaining that health reform, it is an intelligent, it is not only just a selection, but an intelligent selection of the most helpful foods. Then she concludes by saying, prepared in the most helpful
And simplest.
and simplest form. That is the thing that we find in health. The quotation he began with was saying that hygienic reform should be ending about the best in development in health. So health reform, the main purpose is to bring the best health in people. When we read from the book of Ministry of Healing, page 299, paragraph 2, it is telling us something about that. Ministry of Healing, 299, paragraph 2.
Paragraph says, if we plan wisely,
If we plan wisely,
that which is most conducive to health
that which is most conducive to health
can be secured in almost every land.
can be secured in almost every
Land.
land.
The various preparation of rice,
The various preparation of rice,
wheat,
wheat,
corn,
and
oats
oats
are sent abroad
are
everywhere.
sent abroad everywhere.
Also beans,
Peas
and lentils.
and lentils.
These which native or imported fruits
These which are native. When we say native, what does it mean? Things that are around or
imported fruits
fruits
and the variety of vegetables
and the variety of vegetables
that grow in each locality
that grow in each
locality
Mhm.
give an opportunity to select a dietary that is complete.
Give an opportunity to select a complete what?
A complete diet
A complete diet
without the use of flesh.
without the use of flesh.
299 paragraph 2.
So when we say that, it is not that when you are in health form, you must take almonds. Take that which is in your area. When you are in your area, you must not say that you must get the blueberries or cranberries that Ellen White usually says in the books. No, you take that which is in your area, and that one will form a complete diet. So it is something real in the churches, but what you must know, that money you are going to purchase with eggs and milk and all the rest, try to find the plant-based diet, and God will fulfill the promise.
Your last stand.
Maybe unaweza saidia kitabu cha Health Essentials Numeric collect something.
Now,
Yes, as I finish. Never, I didn't know about soya milk containing vitamin B12. It is something new. I didn't hear of it. Maybe I read for them so that they may be also aware about something. Okay. Yes, help me. It is
No, the one who read soya is
maybe yes. So this is something that I can say it really troubled me. So maybe you can also be aware about it. It says like this. It is under nutrition. If maybe you have this topic under nutrition, after we have now those list of the minerals and the vitamins. Now you come to vitamin B12. It says like this. This is an essential vitamin for human health. It is necessary for red blood cell formation and maturation, neurological health, and more. Signs and symptoms of a B12 deficiency may include microcytic anemia, in bracket, in which the red blood cells are larger than normal. Neurological problems including numbness and tingling of the extremities, balance problems, fatigue and weakness, irregular menstrual cycles, and mental changes, including depression, irritability, disorientation, memory loss, and dementia. Cases of untreated deficiency may end in death. Either the anemia or the neurological changes may appear fast. Effects of B12 deficiency may require weeks to months to reverse, or may be irreversible in advanced cases. B12 deficiency is generally caused by inadequate absorption, which may occur as a result of inadequate intake, lack of hydrochloric acid production, a lack of intrinsic factors, in bracket aging, gastritis, etc., and more.
Many people have large stores of B12 in the liver and muscle. When making the change to a total vegetarian diet, it may take years to show a deficiency due to the body's ability to recycle most of the B12 it secretes into the gastrointestinal tract. A lacto-ovo-vegetarian diet can more easily provide all the B12 needed for good health, while total vegetarian should either include food fortified with adequate B12 amounts or use a supplement of this vitamin.
Amen.
So that is something that really brought about a lot of questioning, because we are told that a lacto-vegetarian diet can more easily provide all the B12 needed for good health, while total vegetarian should either include food fortified with adequate B12 amounts or use a supplement of this vitamin.
Who is a lacto-vegetarian? Is something
Lacto-vegetarian?
Yes.
Ovo-vegetarian is someone who uses eggs. Lacto-vegetarian, someone who uses milk and eggs.
Now you're the last statement. Can you reread the last sentence?
A lacto-vegetarian diet can more easily provide all the B12 needed for good health, while total vegetarians should either include foods fortified with adequate B12 amounts. I believe you know food fortified. Ngano mandikiwa fortified with what? B12. I believe you've seen that. Those are food fortified. But I went and searched again about those supplements. It has an effect also.
What does it mean?
I saw it does away with vitamin E.
The vitamin B12.
That is added. It is synthetic. It is not natural. You see what I'm But it is good that I've learned that.
But now, Adam and Eve were not lacto-vegetarian, and they had vitamin B12. And the Lord is taking us back to what? And I think when the Lord is, that is the mind of science. God is taking us back to Eden, leave what Adam gave. I believe that He's not taking us to go and have deficiency in our body, because the Lord is faithful. Amen. And it is sin that has made us to lack all these things, because we left to eat what the Lord gave us, and some had even gotten lost. So I believe God is taking us to perfection. And the Creator knew that everything that He gave man was to come from the nuts, grains, fruits, and vegetables. If we eat that one, because even the rich people, they don't get all these things. Even these people we say the rich, some do not even see this side. They don't even know how unless they meet it in tea.
I'm not cooking.
Even cooking. So the best thing as a church to do, let us go and be not extreme or call for formalism, but let us go and teach people a balanced mind of God in health reform. Teach them on back to Eden, but again not stopping from there. Tell them that if you disregard these things, these are the things God gave. Number two, for now, to cook them. What cooking should be known. Because we can even have all these things, but if even those who eat yam, some do not know how to cook meat. Just as the old grandmothers knew how to cook meat. Meat inaenda kukuliwa jioni, saa hizi iko pa already iko. Lakini sisi saa hii mtu anaenda kutoka na meat saa 2 usiku na saa 3 wako kwa meza wanakula. And they have the new methods of cooking it very fast. So those are the things we need to do what? To know. I believe God cannot cheat us that He gave Adam and Eve a substandard what? I think, but if we will be taken to Turkana, the Lord understands. And Romans 7 says, where sin aboundeth more, the grace much. Now, if you get places where there cannot be nuts and fruits, remember the grace of God was abounds much. You cannot bring that one in easily. Where there are a lot of fruit, the rain, you cannot bring it here. And remember, the grace of God is sufficient to those people more than us. Because where sins abound, and you remember, poverty is all these things, how do you call it? The drought is sin. God did not decide that people may suffer like that. But it is sin that has placed in such conditions. But again, the grace of God abundance much over that. And that is why there might be people who will be saved that they ate that, and during 7 days journey to heaven, they will be not meditated that unless they're going to cause chaos in heaven, where there will be no flesh, there will be no milk, nobody is going to milk. And if there will be milk, it will come from God original blood. You're not going to milk in heaven. And even in heaven, I think you will need these things. You will not need omega 3. You will not need vitamin D12 in heaven. We will need. But again, will we not eat in heaven? We will eat in heaven, sing in heaven, walk around in heaven, judge in heaven. So if somebody died eating flesh, taking milk like Martin Luther, and even some of us, depending on the places they are, drought-stricken areas, they have to be taught during the 7 days journey to heaven and baptized before we enter heaven. I believe if something like that exists. So let's try much that the Lord's grace is sufficient to us. He will help us. Just as maybe I'm celebrating this year, this month, my 10 years in health before. But I've been sick, but when I end up with malaria too, malaria ndio napata nyingi parasites kwa damu. Malaria iletu ya kiukuli mboga, si ndio? Kiukuli malaria tu. Na kulima, I think tunaweza lima tu. So let's just pray that the Lord may help us. But if somebody will feel, we also need to have liberty of conscience. If somebody will feel he needs milk, eat it in your house, in a bedroom, so that we may not affect. And even the flesh meat, if you want to eat it. There are some people who still eat white manna here, but don't bring it before the people to discourage the what?
Amen.
The souls that God has died. That we want to use this thing to walk around and ensure that everyone does that. You are going to destroy the gospel. And remember, people want always easy what? Let people struggle and overcome these things by themselves. And if we should also not force people that they have to eat the way we eat. But let us present the truth and live and start with who? God. Thank you.
Something on vitamin B12. When I was doing research on vitamin B12, I've just forgotten the name of the scientist, but I can remember the presentation was found in there is a film called The Game Changers, a presentation by sports people, including the man who has ever carried the heaviest weight on their shoulders, on the rest, even Akin Arnold Schwarzenegger. They were giving their testimonies of a life based on plant diet. So the scientist was saying, in days back, before the invention of chemicals and herbicides that are used in farming, vitamin B12 used to exist in the soil, produced by bacteria that were there. But now, because those things have been introduced, we find that there is a problem. And when I was reading in MYP page 282, we were being told that the best way to prevent the growth of evil is to preoccupy the soil. The best way to preoccupy the evil. God is very sure by telling us to go back. God does not have any mistake or fault in that. So when he has told us to go back, anamaliza kwa hiyo kota akisema kwamba the Lord in his great mercy has revealed to us in the scriptures the rules of holy living, including those rules that are going to guide us in the directions he has given us. So let us not fear for the directions given of God. Matters concerning vitamin B12, let us just follow the counsels, even in preoccupying the soul. That is when we can make it.
I hope that. Okay, let's pray.
We thank you so much, our precious Master in heaven. We thank you for the lesson that you have handled, Lord in heaven. Sincerely, Lord, when we study much, when we know more about your word and what has been written, Lord in heaven, we will not enter into error. So I sincerely pray that, Lord, you may continue helping us in these sessions that we'll have this day. Lord, I pray that you will open our eyes and our minds that we may understand what is written therein. Bless us all together, and also I pray that you may help us to be fully reformers and to be straight on the matter of health, Lord in heaven. May your will be done at the end of the day.